Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. No matter what time of night or day, I'm still just as happy that you stopped by the channel. So thank you ever so much for all you returning visitors. I thank you all wholeheartedly. You are much appreciated. For you first-time visitors, welcome. You've discovered the Social Gospel Worship and Learning Center. We are a faith-based, non-denominational, web-based congregation. We only exist in cyberspace. And the purpose is to preach and teach the words and doings of Jesus Christ, who is the Son of God. No, baby. Not now. I'm sorry. That was Chloe. She will probably be making another appearance here before long. She makes what she's got her mind made up. Well, I'm not going to hang it up, but I just go ahead and roll with it when that happens anyway. Moving right along here. This is called A Tale of Friday Night Church, which would seem to you maybe a kind of a strange title on the surface of things, but you'll find out why before very long at all. Subtitle: Why are there people who can't handle the truth? I want to share with you all something that happened at the brick and mortar church I attend and serve as a musician on keyboards every Sunday morning. I'm a lifelong piano player, but that's not what this is about. This particular occurrence was where I had been asked by my pastor to address an audience of roughly 25 people on what is now the Friday before last. Having church on a Friday night may seem to be a bit unusual to many of you, but this is a truly devoted congregation with a fervent and steadfast faith that you really have to experience to appreciate. It's called the Prayer of Faith Church of God in Christ. Pastor Lee A. Norris, Sr. And it's located on Atlanta's West Side neighborhood, as we call it, not far from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Just 5 minutes away. For any of my local fans, if you don't currently attend church but would like to, or if you do but would like to visit with us, let me know in your responses below in the comments, and I'll give you the service times and the street address, okay? First, let me give you a little background. At the time, the subject matter was supposed to be about end times prophecy in the Bible and where we are as Christian believers in relation to that timeline. So, I prepared my little presentation accordingly, composing about 1,000-word presentation that would have taken maybe 15 to 20 minutes at most from start to finish. Unfortunately, I was not allowed to finish, finding myself cut off by that same pastor of mine after just 2 minutes or so. His complaint was my topic, saying that I was supposed to talk about something altogether different than that. Problem was, that's not what he told me at first. He said he wanted me to talk about something so completely different that I no longer recall what that was anymore. I have since come to some conclusions of my own as to why my pastor did as he did. But before I tell you, let me present to you the text of my little micro sermon, and then I'll go into the details afterwards. The title was, What's the Real Deal on End Times Bible Prophecy? Now, you longtime members know that I've written about this before, but this one is a little different for a couple of reasons. Subtitle: Wrong Teaching on the Tribulation, the Timing, and its Effects. Now, first, the term Great Tribulation needs to be defined in scriptural terms. The definition of the biblical termination is as follows. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. In the middle of the 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering. And at the temple he will set up an abomination that causes desolation until the end that is decreed is poured out upon him. That comes from Daniel chapter 9 and verse 27. That's where that came from. Hold on, I'm not done yet. No, this is going to take a few extra minutes today, but not too long. In the middle of the 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering, and at the temple he will set up an abomination that causes desolation, as you know. Until the end that is decreed is poured out upon him. Now, confirmation of the above is further along in the same book. This time, Daniel chapter 12, verses 5 through 7, and I quote, Then I, Daniel, looked, and there before me stood 2 others, one on this bank of the river and one on the opposite bank. One of them said to the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, How long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled? The man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, lifted his right hand and his left hand toward heaven, and I heard him swear by him who lives forever, saying, It will be for a time, times, and half a time, when the power of the holy people has finally been broken, all of these things will be completed, close quote. Now, the river there that Daniel was writing about was the River Jordan, the same river of Christ's baptism. For a reference on that, have a look at John chapter 1, verses 26 through 34. That's John's Gospel. The extreme duration of time before the Lord's return is described as follows. And this is Matthew chapter 25, the first 13 verses. I'll just read through these and move on. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps, but did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, "Here's the bridegroom! Come out to meet him!" Then all of the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish one says to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out." "No," they reply, "there may not be enough for both us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the others also came. "Lord, Lord," they said, "open the door for us." But he replied, "Truly I tell you, I don't know you. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." The entire point of the above message of the Scriptures was that it would be a very long time before Christ's return. So very long, in fact, that the entire church would be asleep, spiritually speaking, when Jesus returns. In point of fact, Christ's return will take everyone completely by surprise. Now, I want to touch for 2-3 minutes here on the 7 trumpets in Revelation 8, verses 6 through 9. Then the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared to sound them. The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came fire and hail mixed with blood, and it was hurled down on the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. The second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a huge mountain, all ablaze, was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea turned to blood, a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. This could possibly be a result of a meteor or a comet. Excuse me, a comet. Sorry, that's a meteor and a comet, okay? Now, verse 7 is World War I and World War II. Verse 8 has not yet occurred, suggesting that this is not happening exactly in sequence as we understand time. And then verses 10 and 11 say as follows. The third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from the sky on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. This has not happened as of yet, so the time is evidently not right for that to occur. Neither has it followed, but we know about it in advance by studying the scriptures. Continuing in verse 7, which completely disproves the pre-tribulation rapture teaching. I'll explain that in a second. So, the pre-tribulation rapture, you see, is a wrong interpretation of the Bible. The pre-tribulation rapture simply teaches that all Christians will be taken up prior to all these things occurring. None of us will have to live through this. Well, that's just flat out wrong. Moving right along here. The third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star, I read that sentence. Verse 7 completely disproved. In Revelation 8, verses 5 through 9, it reads as follows. The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise its authority for 42 months. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. And it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. All the inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life, the Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world. Whoever has ears, let him hear. Close quote. If certain Christian groups of people said that they will be raptured at the start of the Great Tribulation, then how is it possible that they are being defeated by the forces of the Antichrist in the verses above? But hold on, let me give you one more example. This time from Christ himself. Let me give you another example that disproves the pre-tribulation theory in Matthew 24, verses 26 through 44. It says, and I'm quoting Jesus himself, so, if anyone tells you there he is in the wilderness, do not go out, or here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as the lightning that comes from the east to the west, so it will be with the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then all the peoples of the earth will mourn when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Now learn this lesson, Jesus said, from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. Truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Continuing on in verse 36, but about that day or hour, Jesus said to the apostles, nobody knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be working in the field. One will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken and the other left. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Close quote. That's it in your nutshell right there. Now, that's the end of the lesson. The following, next several paragraphs here, as I get ready to close. The following is what can happen when people get presented with some real truth. Fast forward back to church now, where we were. I have come to the conclusion, after thinking things through for over a week by now, that the original reason my pastor stopped me only talking after 2 minutes was the original reason my pastor stopped me from only talking for 2 minutes was psychological, not biblical. As you have read, when I get up to address a crowd of like-minded Christian believers, my message can be a bit controversial at times. This was one of those times. The very idea that I could pinpoint the fallacy of the pre-tribulation rapture, which is as far as I got, was evidently more than my pastor could stand. But I don't find him at fault for this, and I am not angry with Pastor Norris. There are disturbingly large, to myself at least, number of people in churches today who simply can't handle the truth. Well, a time of testing for us all will soon occur. For all Christian believers like ourselves, the Great Tribulation will happen in the lifetimes of the majority of people alive today. That will mean 3.5 years of not being able to work, of not being able to buy or sell anything, even to the point of not being able to eat for the unprepared. But if you have prepared for it, as I have, and as many others like myself have, you will be able to survive this traumatic event in human history. Because you see, you are not going to be taken up to heaven when the tribulation starts. Every one of us will have to wait the first 3.5 years, just like the passage above from the prophet Daniel. The Great Tribulation, then, is like the acid test for every Christian believer. When it comes to Jesus and ourselves, therefore, we have a clear choice to make. Don't be caught like the foolish virgins in the parable I quoted you from Matthew's Gospel. Don't get caught unprepared. Make sure there is plenty of oil in your lamps. Oil of spirit, not physical. Which was Christ saying that we must all prepare ourselves for a truly scary time that will soon be upon us. Acquire, as best as you can, a 3.5-year supply of non-perishable food like rice, pasta, dried beans, and don't leave out the canned goods. Remember what will happen to us if we don't do these things and end up taking the mark of the beast in order to survive the present world. You'll get your comfortable life to something they're entitled to, but you'll wind up roasting in hell forever. And make no mistake about it, hell is a real place. It is not folklore. It is not myth. And, by the way, forever is a length of time so extreme that it's undefinable in human terms. Don't wind up there. Stick with Jesus, and he'll stick with you. And that concludes the message. Please visit, if you want to support us, please visit our new online Christian store at socialgospelstore.com. That's all one word, all lowercase, Social Gospel Store. You will find high-quality, faith-based Christian merchandise at surprisingly affordable prices. Here you will find and appreciate various Christian images, some with Christian themes, some with Christian political undertones, and a few just plain political with Christian undertones. They are depicted on men's and women's clothing, coffee mugs, water bottles, thermos bottles, Walmart and decor. That was supposed to be wall art and decor. That was a typo. Sorry. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, designer shopping bags, phone cases, and still more to come later. Prices start at only $8.95, so go ahead, indulge yourself. Visit thesocialgospelstore.com right now. And I guess that's going to be all for now. Normally at the end of a church service, they pass around a collection basket. Well, I'm online only, so I don't have that luxury. But if you want to make a donation, go to our website at The Social Gospel Let me start that again. The Social Gospel Store, I, as in letter I, learningcenter.org. When you go to that, address, you'll find yourself on the homepage. In the upper right corner of your screen is the donate button. Just click that. Click that and fill in any kind of amount you want. Anything from $5 to $500,000, if you dare. All the money goes towards expenses, web presence, the online stores, oh, I'm sorry. I've said that already. Never mind. Hey, look, I just want to thank each and every one of you before I go for the privilege of your time and for sticking with me until the end. Thank you. You all are very much appreciated. Having run out of things to say, at least for this time around, everybody be blessed. That's right. I said be blessed. In Jesus' mighty name.